A number of points would like to put forward in as clear a way as possible. I will go through this summary of the press statement, but because we thought the press statement itself was too long. So we will circulate it so that you can read it at your own pace. Summary of press statement, events of last Thursday. We have to make the general point that the events of last Thursday were most disturbing. And that is even though we knew we had been made, aware of the threats, which I will now get into. The threats before and after SONA. The economic freedom fighters made it known that they were going to disrupt the event of SONA by blatantly disregarding the rules, conventions, and practices of Parliament. Secondly, the concerns that had been raised by the EFF quite early in January were addressed in the program committee of the National Assembly. Thirdly, one EFF member has proudly boasted in a radio interview that they beat up security personnel, in particular with their makarapas. Another member has reportedly even threatened to bring weapons into the chamber. I get to the next point. The only point we want to make here is that members are expected to behave honorably. And we want to also make the point that a minority, a small number of members are involved in this non-honorable behavior. We get to the point about the removal of members from the chamber. EFF members were asked to leave the chamber after they openly defied the chair. And there's something I want to explain here because it's among things that have been coming up in the public domain, and that is that only 3 of them were mentioned by name. But we want to also remind ourselves that there came a point when they were all on their feet. So the issue of names being mentioned or not becomes irrelevant when the whole group are on their feet. Comprehensive rulings were given. The Sergeant at Arms and the Usher of the Black Rod were asked to assist for the members to leave the chamber after they refused. When this intervention failed, the Speaker called for the assistance of the Parliamentary Protection Services. And in terms of Section 7F of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act 4 of 2004, shortly referred to as Powers and Privileges Act, a person may not fail or refuse to comply with an instruction by a duly authorized staff member regarding the presence of persons at a particular meeting in the precincts. Water bottles and makarapas were thrown at Parliament's protection officers. It was at this point that the Speaker ordered the assistance of the security services. Section 199 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996, known as the Constitution, provides for the establishment, structuring, and conduct of security services. The security services of the Republic consist of a single defense force, a single police service, and any intelligence services established in terms of the Constitution. And of course, the action, as I've already indicated, was taken in terms of Section 4 of the Powers and Privileges Act. I come to the issue that is of great interest to a lot of members that are in this press conference, the issue of the scrambling of the signal and faulty microphones. Parliament does not own any device that scrambles communication or cellular phones. We did not order the use of such devices. We are to improve our systems in order for us to ensure that this does not become a precedent. The podium microphone locked, and up to now, the investigation is inconclusive. A backup system will be put in place. On the scrambling issue, one issue I want to make very, very emphatically clear is the media, as far as Parliament was concerned, was never a target or an issue in relation to the preparations for the State of the Nation address. Although we are not the organ that has the expertise or that will give to you the detail on this matter, we are aware that those concerned will issue a report to Parliament, and they will also address the media themselves about the detail of what was this all about. But I repeat, the media was never a target in relation to this matter as far as Parliament is concerned. Because for us, whatever communication that is within the law, the policy, and the rules has to be expedited, for the simple reason that without proper communication from those that have that expertise, there's no point in us saying we're going to have meetings that must then also be relayed to our people. I come to the role and powers of presiding officers. Duties of presiding officers include maintaining order, interpreting, applying, and ensuring compliance with the rules and practices of the House. Of course, that supposes that presiding officers always look forward to the smooth conduct of proceedings. Our last 2 points, we wish to say a democracy like ours means we must accept the will of the people. We say this because our experience of the less than a year of the 5th Parliament is that we have seen conduct that clearly displays an attitude that the outcome of the elections is not being respected. Everything is being done every step of the way to challenge it. And we remember that quite early in the life of this 5th Parliament, we started to hear comments, statements in the public domain from people who had taken the oath along with everybody else in this Parliament, saying they were not going to play by the rules. After having taken the oath, after having signed commitments in relation to that, they said they are not going to respect or cooperate with the rules and protocols of Parliament. We believe that all honorable members and parties must cooperate and tolerate each other. We must all respect our institutions, especially also beyond Parliament, all the 3 arms of the state. As a way forward, we, as the leadership of this Parliament, intend meeting with all political parties, a process we had started. In fact, we had a lunch, all of us, together on Wednesday, which was the day before SONA. We continue to proceed, we will continue to proceed in this tone of relating. We will continue also with engagements with the media community. We will initiate a dialogue with the MPs on our electoral system because the issue has come up. If I may perhaps elaborate a bit on this. The issue has come up whether the Speaker, because she's also a political deployee, although I don't understand what this means because all members of Parliament come from political parties. If we want to change our system, whereby a proposal has been made based on other systems elsewhere in the world, that issue has to be tabled for discussion, and it must be engaged properly. It's not something that, midstream, midway, we meet in the passage and we say we don't think this thing works because we don't like a particular face that is occupying the seat. So we suggest that that issue, like any other issue, must be open for discussion. And we should arrive at an agreement or lack of agreement, and we say we move on this basis. But that we will just be hijacked on the way and told this is not how it should be because we don't feel like it. We will not accept that. We also intend utilizing the Speakers Forum for engagement on a whole range of the matters that have come up, some which we have raised in our own brief statement, but also which have been raised in the public domain before and after SONA. Madam Deputy Secretary, thank you very much for the opportunity And thank you very much for your attention.